You have my undivided attention, Max.
I do.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
right?
Where's
We're in the
Oh,
show.
so we are live.
We're
Very
doing the
cool.
thing right now.
I see private chat. I don't know where the other is. There like a other chat, Mizael? Is there like a live chat? Is that a thing?
You want to say hi to your adoring fans, Max?
I want to say hi to the people, but I also
We're
want
a
to
real
hear
man
them.
of the people.
Yeah, I want to hear them as we go through it.
Yeah.
Is that Mizael? Is that weird that I can't see live chat on the right?
No, it's in comments.
I don't. I just see private chat and I see recording. I don't see anything else.
Same.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know, man. There's comments turned on. Here, I'll send a comment right now.
Oh, so Nikki sees it.
Okay. Cool.
I just want to make sure I can keep an eye on the like questions. If anyone, oh,
There it
whoa,
is.
I see it on
There
the.
it is.
Oh,
Okay.
it's on the thing. Okay, cool. Hey,
Great.
Christine. Okay, so it shows up.
Perfect.
Oh, this is different. All right,
Cool.
amazing.
I'll keep an eye for the bottom right. Then we'll keep the
We'll go
keep
ahead
the chat
and get
going.
started. Yeah, folks. So now that we actually know where the chat shows up, like, please let us know where you're tuning in from.
Marianne in the frigid Great White North of Wisconsin, where it's negative a million.
Man, dude, I've never ran a snowblower more in my life than I have in the past 24 hours. I've gone out there 5 times. I've had to charge my battery 5 times. I've already broke one of my the auger teeth or whatever it is. I don't know, the blade. I already broke that. I sheared off one of them. I had to like replace like the pin or whatever. I'm done, dude. It's awful. And then we're gonna get even more. Andrea, I'm in Billerica, Massachusetts. So I'm in the Northeast. But we're supposed to get like another 12 something inches this weekend on top of the 2+
There we go. We got a couple Southerners in the chat.
There we go.
Although it is particularly chilly here in Atlanta. It was 13 when I went to the gym this morning at 5 a.m., which is unacceptable for Georgia.
Michelle Harris, is that one of my very first HubSpot onboarding customers of all time? Michelle Harris, am I remembering, or am I going crazy at this point?
Wild.
We got some friends in here. Amazing.
Okay, sweet.
All right, brother, ready to dive into it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh, it is Michelle. Hey, Michelle, miss you. Yeah, you want? Should we do some introductions maybe? Because there's probably some new faces here. Maybe some people who don't know me. I know a lot of them probably know you, but then we also have people that aren't customers here too as well. So we'll introduce us as if you've never met us before. Hey everybody, my name is Max. I am the director of product here. I got to get used to saying that. At Hapily, I was the chief evangelist for a while. So my job title has changed as I am putting more of a focus on the work that I'm doing with with the product. Spent 8-ish years at HubSpot before I came here. So love talking about HubSpot. Love talking about event management now is our big thing. But yeah, Ben, you want to tell the people who you are?
Yeah. For those of you that may not have met me yet on the webinar, my name is Ben Francis. I have the privilege of being the director of customer success here at Hapily. So from the moment you decide to partner with Hapily, you'll be working with me and my team to do the thing. So I apologize if I use the same jokes that you've heard all throughout your time with Hapily. If you're an existing customer, I only have a very, very short list of jokes to mention. But I really appreciate your time and attention today. We've got some amazing things we've come out with recently. We want to just make sure that we can put a little context into and explain why you go down one path or the other and really show you how they work.
Yeah.
Our whole goal for what we've released over the last couple of weeks is really to make the communication management of advertising your event to the world, the event marketing side of the equation, as well as the event communication experience and how people interface with your brand at events to really be as streamlined as humanly possible using what HubSpot is best at. Mm-hmm. You know, what are the best in the world for managing what message you're sending to what people. And we want to slot right in and let HubSpot be great at what it's great at, but making it incredibly simple for any event manager to get all of the assets they need for their event to make sure it goes off without a hitch.
Yeah. And also just like reducing a lot of the manual labor required in HubSpot that normally goes into setting a lot of this stuff up. So we're going to go through a bunch of things. Should we give sort of like an agenda that we're going to kind of like everything that we're going to sort of touch on?
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and launch into Event Happily admin while you talk. Totally. What we're going to cover.
Yeah. Awesome. So we've got like four like big things that we're going to talk about today. The first one being this new step in our event builder tool, which I guess you're going to see the event builder tool if you haven't seen it before, which is basically our tool that helps you like build all the assets you need in HubSpot to run an event without having to manually do it on your own. So you can just focus on the fun stuff like the copy and design and things like that. But a lot of the boring, repetitive manual labor of like creating a lot of these assets and tying everything together, we're gonna take care of all that for you. But there's a new step in that tool that deals up with queuing up all the different emails you plan to send during your event. We call it the communication manager, comms manager is what we've kind of been lovingly referring to it as. So it's a new piece of that event builder tool. We also have a couple of new UI extensions that we've introduced to the event record. If you don't know what a UI extension is, it's basically new surface area or like a little, like a little window on your records in HubSpot that adds new functionality or reporting or features to it. So we have these two new ones. One's called the Invite Manager and another one's called the Email Automation Manager. It kind of goes hand in hand with the Comms Manager. We might change the name on it at some point. But we've got those two UI extensions. And then we've got a much more robust version of walk-up registration that is no longer dependent on HubSpot forms, which is great. So we got a bunch of cool stuff to show you today. And we'll go ahead and dive into it.
Yeah. So I'm going to put on my event manager persona for a second, and I'm going to be creating a new event from scratch. And thinking about really what are all of the things I need for this event that we're hosting. I need the ability to tell the world, tell my network of contacts that already exist in HubSpot, this event exists. I need the way for them to register and take the action that I'm asking for them in the email that I'm inviting them to register for. I need to customize the journey around reminding them to show up to the event and that post-event follow-up based on whether or not they showed up or not. So let's do that together.
Let's do it.
So Max, what are we? I need a cool theme for this event. What do you think?
Man, we probably should have thought of this ahead of time. Let's see. Should we do?
Snow Cone Festival.
Yes, Max's. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Max's Snow Cone Festival.
All right, so Max is doing a Snow Cone Festival next Friday afternoon. It's going to be a blast. Frigid times.
It's going to be a polar vortex, if you will.
Polar vortex for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Put in some information around where exactly it is. I'm just going to put in 123 Address Street. We're going to meet in Boston.
Dude, don't dox me. It's my literal address.
In here, if you haven't already, you can customize the properties, the information that your team is filling out when they create a new event. For this specific demo environment, we need to make sure that we know what kind of event this is, what business unit or what region or what market or whatever the case is here. So this is an in-person event, and this is an uncapped event because we're all going to be hanging out outside in Max's front yard. So
yes, no limit. Everyone can come here. And real quick, just if anyone's like wondering, like, where do those values come from? Those are from your event records in HubSpot. So if you have an event record and you've given it properties that help you organize about it, automate things or build segments or whatever, report on it, whatever it may be, any of those properties that you build, you can set in that first step. And we just let you choose in the settings what shows up there.
Yeah. So if you haven't gone through the event builder in a while, or if you've never gone through the event builder, this part feels like magic compared to running an event in HubSpot in any capacity.
Yeah.
So what we've built with the event builder is really just a series of yes or no questions to help automatically create all of the tertiary assets you may need for your event. So do you want dynamic lists or active list, I guess is what HubSpot calls it. Active lists
Segments
related
now,
to, no, it's a list. It'll always be a list. I don't want to hear segment.
True.
I
The
don't- I
best
will-
part is that they still put lists in parentheses next to the word
Because
segment in the navigation.
Just
It's
unwilling to
insane.
admit defeat. It's always a
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you follow me on LinkedIn for any amount of time, you'll see my diatribes about lists.
Yeah.
But so we ask you, cool, do you want us to make active lists related to this specific event? Which ones do you want? So you automatically grab your registered list, your attended list, who didn't attend, and say maybe those are just the 3 that I want. I want to know how many people were registered and what's the distribution of those people who showed up and didn't show up. Great. We'll automatically make those for you.
Yep.
We can even select a registration form that we're going to be driving traffic to register for this event. We can copy that form and rename it for the event. And we'll even put in the value in the form to let us know that every submission is a registration for the event that we're creating here, Max's Snow Cone Festival.
Yes.
We can even use an existing email template and automatically copy that, link it to the event, and put it on a new registration confirmation workflow for this specific event. So that way, if you want to make last minute changes related to the confirmation for this specific event, you can totally do that. So we'll go ahead and copy one of those. Same thing on the landing page side. Hey, you have these stylized landing pages that already exist that have modules in specific places and have specific branding. We can copy that page, name it for this event, and automatically update any Hapily modules that are on that page to look at the event we're creating here. So that way you can go make last minute changes. Maybe if you want to change the URL slug or something like that, hit publish, and you have a full-fledged registration page ready to go.
Yeah. You're getting the benefit of it being templatized. So you can spin it up in a second, but then also make each one its own special snowflake should you want to do that. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for this specific event, I'm not specifically oriented with my team, capturing badges or business cards and attributing this back as leads. So I'm going to select no in this case, but any Hapily event you can enable to be visible for our lead capture app, which is super helpful.
Hey, Ben, I'm going to have you turn that on just because of something in the communications manager I'm going to show.
Oh, I know what you're getting at. Cool. All right. This is an in-person event, so we're not going to facilitate this on Zoom, but if I were, I can create a Zoom meeting or a Zoom webinar, and it'll automatically go to Zoom, create that, and pull back the meeting URL with the passcode already added to it.
And something new, since you all last joined us, you can now select specifically which host you're creating it for. So you have more control over who actually is the host of the meeting or webinar.
Super cool.
Yep.
And we'll go ahead and create a new HubSpot campaign to kind of link some of these assets together. So this part is new. Max, you want to kind of give some insight into what we built here?
We've arrived. All right. So folks, this is the first net new thing that you're seeing here. All right. So this is the new communications manager. Okay. So what this is a way to give you sort of a bird's eye view to build out all the emails you plan to send, who you're going to send them to, and when they're going to be sent. So you can sort of create this, again, overarching plan on how you're going to communicate with different sort of audiences of your event. Okay. So starting from left to right, you've got these 3 columns: emails sent before the event happens. So think like your registration confirmation email that you've been historically building using this tool. But also we can easily queue up things like reminder emails, right? So think about if you've ever gone to inbound, right? Think about that email you get the day before inbound, or the emails they send to you every day for the week leading up to it, right? You'd be able to queue those up in here and then edit them later inside of HubSpot. Now, something to notice here, you'll see Ben going and giving the email a name. Right? He's then choosing when to send it, right? So you can either choose at a custom date or time, or you can simply do the 1 day before, 2 days before, 3 days before, however many days before the actual event, right? And then it'll go ahead and queue up that email to be built. Okay. Now keep in mind, you can build emails later. If you don't think of every single email you want to send, or maybe you don't even know, or maybe if you don't want to send emails, you can always hit the remove button and skip this step. Right. But we want to make it really easy to kind of queue up the structure of all these emails that you're sending, and then some of the content inside of it too as well. Right. Now, what you'll notice, can you go edit that Snow Cone Fest day before reminder? Okay. Sure. And go down to where it says audience. Okay.
Yeah.
You'll notice all registrants is the only option. Right. And that's because before the event happens, you don't have a concept of people who attended or didn't show up. All right. So we're like intentionally clamping down who you can set these emails up to go to. And then if you want to use a specific email template that you already have built inside of HubSpot, we let you do that right there. And you have tight control over which ones show up. So if you have like 1,000 email templates in there and you only want 2 to show up, you can make it so those 2 only show up. Right. During event emails, same idea. You can add additional ones. You'll notice that like we change up a little bit of who's available to actually get sent. Right. So when you go and choose audiences, right, you have the ability to send to your dynamic list of attended registrants, or it maybe if by the time you've sent this email, you're marking people as did not attend, you can even send that as well. Or you could just send it to all registrants. You want to think kind of critically about like, hey, are we taking registration before this email goes out or after the email goes out? So you kind of have control over like which group of people it actually sends to, right? But let's say, for example, it's an email that you're sending in the middle of the day after registration has take place, and you just want to be able to, target your attendees. You're able to tightly do that here, which is really cool.
Right? Yeah. So like, hey, there are specific nuances about accessing the venue or something of that nature. We want to send to everyone right before, so it's at the top of their inbox, they can glance at it and make sure they park in the right spot or walk into the right door, things like that.
Yes.
Yep.
And then, of course, your after event emails. So these are any emails sent after the event. So think your follow-up emails, right, to folks who did attend versus folks that did not attend, right? Keep in mind, as you're taking like attendance using our check-in app, people are automatically going to get added to these lists, and you can queue up those emails to go out after. There is also one more. If you go ahead and hit add email, and Ben, this is why I had you turn the mobile lead capture thing back on, you'll notice that, when we're queuing up when these emails go out, we're using like X amount of days after the event, right? So like we're automatically setting up there so you don't have to do like the date math in your head. But when you hit audience, you'll notice that event leads is now an option too as well. So if you turn on mobile lead capture and you're capturing leads during an event, so like say this wasn't like a hosted one, let's say you were just setting up an event that was like a trade show you were going to, and you didn't set up the other stuff, right? You didn't do a landing page or anything like that. If you just turned on the mobile lead capture stuff, you'd still be able to queue up an email that would go to anybody on that event leads list that we build for you. So you don't have to go set that up on your own after, right? So we're just kind of, again, reducing all the amount of steps you have to take to do this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and hit save. You can delete any of these. You can remove them all. You can skip the step. If you don't even like build your lists, we're kind of assuming you don't want to do this either, and it'll just skip it as well, right? But this lets you kind of build out and plan out all the emails that you're going to send. And then we're going to go build these emails for you inside of HubSpot, automatically associate the lists, and automatically schedule them for a specific time. All you have to do is add your content, right? And then make adjustments and you're done, right? So let's go ahead and hit next.
So one quick thing here, especially for existing happily customers, that a lot of what had been built before were maybe workflow driven emails to kind of power our comms strategy, which is still a great method. Now, what we've built here in the comms manager is a different approach to achieve the same outcome of how do I manage which of my attendees or registrants get the right message at the specific time. Workflow driven emails and registrant based emails like we have on the confirmation are super valuable for that QR check-in or some of those personalization token driven emails. Whereas the during event and the after event, those are more classic, more contact scheduled emails to a specific list that we've already created for you.
Yeah. And so like something you'll notice is that registration confirmation email one you see on the front, there's no option to delete that. And it also says this is automatically sent when a new registrant is created. This is still getting set up to be sent via a registrant based workflow. Right. Exactly. Whereas the rest of these are set up as one-off email sends just so they're easier to kind of manipulate. Right. And you're not dealing with a gigantic spider web of workflows. Now, the one thing that I want to do, like you can still set up other emails to be sent out via a workflow, right? So keep in mind that registration confirmation email that gets set up with a workflow that is it's already kind of tied to. If you want to send more emails like that, where it's like dynamically pulling information from like an individual registrant record, you can add additional emails to that workflow. Nothing stopping you from doing that at all. And you'll be able to tie those emails back to the event. We'll show you how to do that in a little bit.
Yeah. So the final step here is the confirmation of all of the things that we are going to make for you when you hit next.
Mhm.
So we're gonna tell HubSpot, make an event record in HubSpot, make 3 lists, make a form, make an email, put that email on a workflow. And so just with a few yes, no, and drop down selections, we make all of these things in HubSpot for you. And then we tie a link to all of those assets that relate to the specific event back in HubSpot. So you don't have to go to hunt to find the list of hey, my colleague needs my registration list, or hey, my someone on my team needs to go do some copywriting for that specific email. You don't have to go search across HubSpot for those things.
Yeah.
When you launch into HubSpot,
And also, I want everyone to just take a moment and appreciate what just happened there, as Ben kind of like glazed over it. He just did about like, I don't know, like 8 or 9 hours worth of work in like 9 seconds, right? In terms of like getting all this stuff like set up and like tied together and queued up and connected and like, you know, built. Like a ridiculous amount of stuff just happened in this HubSpot account. It built all of the lists, right? It created all the landing pages, the forms, right? It built a bunch of the emails. It queued up all those emails to go to the lists and scheduled them, right? All you have to do is like confirm it all and turn it on and like add your content, right?
So good.
Which is like, don't get me wrong, that's still work you gotta do, right? But what you're doing is you're eliminating a lot of these things that take the most time, which is like creating of the new assets, tying them all together, orchestrating everything, and like, you know, figuring out how it all gets kind of plugged in, right? But yeah, cool. And again, guys, we just want to encourage you, if you have questions as you're seeing this, drop them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer them at the end or in the moment if we can, right? But Ben, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, I mean, that's a great call. Like, we want to allow your team to focus on the message that needs to be shared related to this specific event, not the logistics of how people are going to get that message.
Yeah. Click fatigue in HubSpot is so unbelievably real, and it gets wildly exacerbated building out all of this stuff for your events. So if we can leave.
So we have an event record. And obviously, one of the best parts of HubSpot is you can customize this record layout to really suit your team's fancy. We've set up a couple tabs here to kind of keep things organized. So, you know, the planning for, hey, this is the image we're going to use. This is the content, a few other things related to this specific event. But you'll notice it's at a place, 123 Address Street in Boston. It's going to go 3 to 5 on Friday the 6th. But then if I go to the communications tab here, this is where we have 2 new cards on the event record for your team to play with. So the first is the invite manager, which really shows the allowing the event marketing function to exist. I have my list in HubSpot. It'll always be a list in HubSpot of I'm gonna belabor that until I'm blue in the face.
I like to think that like us writing the word lists on this is like our active protests to word segments. Yeah. Never. I'm surprised they approved it.
Yeah.
Knowing that we're still calling them lists. That's funny. Yep.
I might have gotten in trouble for posting some memes about it. But so we have our ecosystem of contacts that we want to let them know that, hey, this event exists and you should go register for it. And so we really make it easy to say, who do you want to send this message to and what message do you want to send? And so in here, I can either create a new list right from scratch, or I can grab my existing list that exists in HubSpot. So I think I already made a list for my event. I should have called it something else.
What did you call it? Did you call it marketing something?
Yeah, event marketing list.
There it is. Yeah.
So yeah, I've got my 53 people I want to notify about this specific event. And the cool part is too, is you can grab as many lists as you want. And we'll actually do the stats down below of how many unique contacts across all of the lists that you're inviting to register for this event.
Yeah.
If you want to grab your key account list and then your specific vertical oriented list or whatever the case may be, you can link multiple lists in here.
Mm-hmm. And this is, you know, what's like really cool about how like this is all tying into like previous stuff we've built, right? Like if you remember when we went through that event builder step where we automatically generated those lists of like registrants and people that actually attended and explicitly did not attend, things like that. All those lists you're going to see right here because they're lists or segments, just like anything. They're lists, just like anything else, right? And so like what's really cool is that if you want to be like, oh, you know what? I want to invite everyone that actually came to this last event we did. You can literally just search for that event and see the people who registered, attended, and did not attend, and literally just invite the list of people who attended, right, and put it on there, right, or choose that as one of your lists that you're going to invite people to.
Even
right?
for a conference perspective, hey, if you if you have the data in HubSpot for all of the event leads from last year's conference and you want to invite them to meet you at this year's conference and you know that they were there last year, you can use an event record and the invite manager to send an email to everyone who was an event lead from last year. Hey, book time with us at the booth, or come to our happy hour, whatever the case may be.
I just wanted to say, Danny, that comment melted my heart, and we love you. Yes.
Danny's the best.
Is that about a specific context still? Yeah. So Chris, like, since we're dealing with like HubSpot records here, like any of the same sort of like limitations that HubSpot records would have inside of HubSpot would apply. That is correct.
Yep.
Cool. Wow. Lots of comments coming in.
Yeah. Let's bring it on. Can we spreadsheet import directly to the create invite list?
No, not yet, but that's a good idea. And like, these are the kinds of like, pieces of feedback I want to hear as you're seeing this, right? Something that I am very, very aware of is the concept of inviting people to events is infinitely complex, right? We have some people where it's like, yeah, I just want to build a registration page and email it to a bunch of people. And if they go register, great, right? And like, to them, that's inviting people to an event, right? We have other people who are like, hey, we want to be able to send out RSVPs and be able to track, not only their meal choice, but also if they declined the RSVP, right? Yeah. And like, while we don't have like a specific feature built for that, luckily it's really easy to set up inside of HubSpot, but we want to build features for that kind of stuff, right? So like, as you're seeing this, please give comments like that one, because I agree. The ability to upload a list right here and just have it automatically create the list or segment for you, right? And having it be on there would be like a really cool addition to this, right? So please, as you're seeing this, like, give us your feedback in real time, because putting this stuff in front of you is really what helps us like figure out like where else you want us to go with this stuff, right? So yeah, sure. I have other plans for list upload stuff that eventually we'll probably do one of these things about, right? But yeah, very cool. Now,
so I'm going to go ahead and create my first invite email. And in most cases on the event marketing side, we're going to send a couple different touch points leading up to the event itself, especially if we're the ones hosting it. We're trying to get people to register so we can then remind them to show up and register and check them in, things like that. So in here, so I'll go ahead, and again, I'm not the foremost copywriter by any means.
Yep. And keep in mind right here, this subject is just putting a quick subject line in there. Like, you can, of course, like when you go and edit the email, like add personalization tokens and things like that. Right.
Yep. And so in here, it'll automatically see the list that I've set up. I made a list in real time for Jordan's idea, just to prove that you can make a list. It still creates one in HubSpot directly. So we're still beholden to what HubSpot will let you do on the list side for now. So we create that email, and this will then launch me into the email section of HubSpot. But you're like, wait, how is there copy in this email? I literally just gave it a name.
Yeah.
Max, you want to showcase the magic you did here?
Well, this is because we have a template, right? This one's not the AI one. If that's what you're looking for. That's the event manager, right? This right here is a template that we've built that has like a lot of our, stuff already in it. We picked the most boring one to have on here. Yeah. But you can pick whatever, email template that you want to use. Right. I think it's just like, it picks like the first one that you have in there. We're eventually going to build like a selector and stuff like that in here. Right. But yeah, it builds it now. But the big thing is, go on the left, hit send to. Your lists are already there, right? So it automatically hooks up the lists that you chose, right? Now, whether you built an email quickly right through here, it's great. Like, we tie it all together for you. It's nice and simple. We'll use whatever your default template is, right? You could also just go build an existing email and associate it if you've already done that, right? So I think you said you did something in that.
Sure did. So I've got my first touch point I made through the invite manager directly. But say my team has already created the couple email invites that we want to send out to people. I can go in here and look for that email. So I have I think it's called invite 2. There it is. Great. Link selected email. And I already have and you see it's already pointed at my event marketing list.
Yep.
And this was an email that I just created in HubSpot directly, test invite. And we see here that it's set to go out to the event marketing list. I can do my copywriting, invite us to join us at an event.
Yep.
So I have my couple touch points in here leading up for the event. I have my list set up in here, and I can see, how many it was sent to, the status of that email, all of those things. So rather than needing to go bounce around 15 different places to just, hey, how many people got the first invitation email? Making it really easy to get those stats and streamline the process for the event marketing, getting people to register for the thing.
Yeah, you can almost kind of like think of it as like a little mini campaigns tool. Like if you're used to the campaigns tool in HubSpot, where it's like putting a bunch of like assets together so you can see them all in one pane of glass, right? We kind of took that same idea where it's like, all right, well, what are the tools that people are using to actually invite people to their events? And it's like, well, it's lists and email, right? Yeah. And so we're like, cool, what can we do to like harmoniously combine the lists that you're planning to invite people to, right? Or it could even just like, this also, like, keep in mind, it doesn't have to just be a list that like you're planning to send an email to. Perhaps you have folks like manually inviting people in their conversations with customers, and you have them add those folks to these lists, right? You could totally look at it that way as well if you wanted to, right? But what's cool is that when you go and build the list, down here where you add the emails, it'll show you which list it's going to. It'll show the status. So if you were to go schedule that email or send the email, you would see when it's scheduled to actually go out, right? So yeah, here, if we go and schedule the email, we go schedule the ugliest email template of all time that we've made, right? And you give it a refresh, right? You'll see it's scheduled to go out at a specific time. So I know who's getting invited, when the email is actually going out, right? And you can manage it that way and see and kind of keep this bird's eye view of everything, right? Again, there's a lot I think we can do here, right? But I think this is a very like interesting kind of step that we took, like for the first time, combining like marketing tools with HubSpot CRM records, right? It's an interesting concept. But yeah. Anything else we need to show here? Well, it'll also count your registrations down there. So if you want to get like a rough registration rate of like people you've invited versus people that actually registered.
What's the conversion rate of inviting people to register at the event to actually doing the thing? Correct. Ultimately, like as event marketers, we care about like how many people total have we made aware that our brand is facilitating an event, that they have the opportunity to engage with us? How many then said they're interested in engaging? Then how many actually did the thing from there? We have a very easy way to show you that waterfall and even go further out with the deal attribution side that we'll show you in just a few as well.
Yeah. Devin, not yet, but I'd love to hear kind of what stuff that we've got
some stuff cooking related to SMS and event marketing. So stay tuned.
Yes.
We've got a great collaboration with a great tool that is embedded inside of HubSpot that we're going to be doing some cool stuff with.
Yep. And the question is this beta? This is out. Like people can use this. This is in production.
This is called the Hapily Invite Manager card. If you go to your edit record, add that card, and then add the email automation manager, which we'll get to in just a second. And there's even another one for the that reporting of event performance report.
Did we have event performance last time? I don't think.
No, I think it was
no. That might be new. We should show that too at some point.
Yeah, we will.
Very cool. So that is the invite manager, right? Again, we want to hear your feedback, right? And we want you to play with this thing and, break it as much as you can so we can, figure out what else we can do with this.
Oh, Mike, badge printing. Oh, it's just wait. It's coming. It's coming. We promise. Promise it's coming.
Oh, yep.
It's going to be so
good. Yep. No, not totally off topic.
Yeah. It's a part of how people engage with your brand at an event.
Yes.
And that in-person experience is extremely important. So badge printing, full-fledged feature. We've been chatting about it all week. It's coming.
Yeah. I'll just say it's in design right now. I literally can't wait to show it to you. So yeah, it'll be really cool.
So we did the event marketing side of things, making people aware that we have an event coming. Hey, register, take the action on the email, and get the information around when is the event, where is the event. And so this is really where the email automation manager picks up. You'll notice here our pre-event email, our during event email, and our post-event, those align with the selections we made earlier around what touch point is XYZ person going to get based on their registration status or their their attendance status directly. We'll see exactly when it's scheduled to go out based on the selections we picked earlier. So this is going to be the day before the event, the day of, immediately following. And so that way, from the communications perspective, if I want to change my day before reminder, you'll actually see here, I used an email template that is our confirmation email. It's got a
gorgeous
bunch of us,
by the way, just absolutely gorgeous. Like I say this on myself.
So if I need to adjust the copy for this specific day before reminder, I can absolutely do that without interfering with the comm strategy for an entirely different event. I can add last minute changes, do my copywriting. In this case, still use personalization tokens for all kinds of details about, hey, use this to check in, or other details from the registrant record itself. Hey, I need to do my copywriting to edit specifically the parking instructions. You can absolutely do that on our day of event email directly from here. And you'll notice
this is the AI one, right? So I haven't edited this template yet, right? Because they come they come looking at like a basic email, and I only edited my registration one. But we inject these emails called it's called like default before, default during, default after email communication templates, and you can take those and then like add whatever else you want to add in, whether it's like headers and footers, and like customize the email however you want. But they have this special rich text module in the middle, which will actually take details from your event, and it will give you kind of a AI copy of the context of that email, right? So this was the one that you sent during, right?
Yes, during.
Max's Snow Cone Festival is happening right now. We wanted to make sure you have the parking details you needed to enjoy the event. Please park at the designated lots at a place. Parking is of course, we picked like a weird, goofy thing here, right? Parking is complimentary, right? So it's gonna take a first pass at like writing this. Like we aim to do a lot more with this down the road, right? But like you can come into here, you can go and edit it, change it, just like you can any other sort of rich text module, right? But of course, like you would, before you used this, you would go like add whatever else you wanted to add into all these, right? So yeah.
So making it relatively easy. Do we have a question?
Yeah, it says we have multiple sessions associated in most of our events. When will we be able to send session invites through this tool? Interesting. So invites to specific sessions is not something that we've thought of yet, but I'd love to know like how we're defining sessions in there. Is it like advertising specific sessions that you're doing and encouraging someone to sign up for them? Or do you have like, are you looking at sessions as like multiple recurrences of like a similar event? I'm going to say it depends. But session invites at the session level is not necessarily something that we've tackled yet. This would be more for the event level, but at the same time, to be honest with you, there's nothing that would stop you from creating an invite to a specific session, because the content of that email would just go to the registration page for that sentence. Yeah. Big conference taking place. You host decided.
You can do a session, like a session-based registration page, and drive traffic to specifically register for the session, which may be nested under the conference. And the happy hour is a specific session if you want.
Yeah, you could do that, because that just ends up being like a matter of the contents of the email itself, right? But you're right in that like it wouldn't have any sort of like reporting for that specific session. So maybe like a session record based version of this is something that we could explore. Send us some more info on that. I want to see what like your current process is and see, get some inspiration on how we can make that better. That's interesting.
Yeah. So very similar to how we have the invite manager, structuring out those touch points that are going to happen ahead of the event, allowing you to make those copy changes, to schedule, to publish those emails, and having confidence of exactly who's going to get what touch point leading up to the event and following the event, with really your team focusing on the message that's being delivered rather than the logistics of how they get the message.
Yeah. And it also, again, like when we talk about like reducing like click fatigue in HubSpot, like this is a huge one, right? Like, you're looking at your event, which is basically like your command center for your entire event. Instead of having to like navigate to the emails tool, go build a complicated folder structure and a weird naming convention to like, keep everything like making sense with like the smattering of emails that are like held in a different tool somewhere, right? We link to everything directly from the event record. So if you want to find that list, click into that list. If you want to edit that email, click the name of the email and you can get right in there. You don't have to build these outside sort of like structures of, structures of organization of your marketing assets. You can just get to them because they have this relation directly to the event. The other thing too is when you go and build those emails, they automatically get slotted in depending on the send date to one of those 3 buckets of an email before, during, or after. So you can get an idea of the chronological order of like communications that folks are going to be receiving. Michelle, we have breakout room sessions at conferences that we would like to invite people to. I mean, you could do that. The one thing is that you'd be missing there is like the registration like percentage or the registration like conversion rate thing. But if this was something that we adapted to the session record somehow, that would solve that problem. So yeah. That is stuff to look into. I love
one of the new pieces of information we're going to give you related to the invite manager and email automation manager is this event performance report. So at any given event in HubSpot, you can go look to say, how many people did I make aware? How many took the first conversion? How many took the second conversion? And then even looking at things, if you're using our deal attribution, how many of them went on to open deals with us? And then how many of those deals closed to really show the conversion from making someone aware to actually driving top line revenue.
Yeah. And, this is counting a lot of the objects and like how they're actually associated to these records, right? So like as people register for the invite, we create registrant objects. You'll see that number tick up. As they get checked in and get moved into like the attended status, you'll see that number tick up. If you're doing deal attribution with like our deal attribution workflows and like you'll see that your deals get associated to the event and eventually get closed, right? You'll see those numbers tick up down at the bottom too as well, right? So instead of going and building a billion different reports on a bunch of different dashboards, right, you can simply just look at this one and get that really good sort of like idea across the board from invite all the way to deals won if, deal attribution is really important to your event strategy. Yeah, it's cool stuff.
So I definitely want to be mindful of time as well. So why don't we talk about walk-up registration?
Yes.
And what's changed with check-in in general?
Absolutely.
So speaking of which, let's go ahead and I went ahead and registered a couple contacts into this event. So we'll give HubSpot just a second to see people related to this specific event. But while we do that, I want to talk about some of the details that we're going to post onto a couple different places in HubSpot when people take action through the Hapily events. So both on the lead capture side and on the registering and attending side of things, we're going to be creating a timeline event or an activity event on both the contact and the event that it's related to, allowing people the ability to trigger all kinds of automation. So if we're hosting events and we want to update a lead score based on someone registering or attending our event, or on the lead capture side, if we want to then trigger a workflow to enroll someone in a sequence, based on who owns that contact after we mark them as an event lead. Those are additional things that we are actively trying to give you signals inside of HubSpot that people are engaging with your brand with events, either through lead capture or through event registration. So that way you have an easy way to then trigger all kinds of other automation and help HubSpot be what it's great at. So I went ahead and registered a couple people for this event. You'll notice if I go to I'm trying to remember exactly.
Activities. Okay. Are you looking for app events?
I'm looking for the event details card.
Oh, I think it's on planning.
There it is. Okay. So we have the event details card. When is it? Where is it? But also all of those digital assets, the things that we said that we wanted earlier, the page, the form, the email, the workflow, the email is on, and the check-in page.
Check-in.
So I can launch the check-in page directly from here. If as a reminder, this access to use the check-in page does not require HubSpot access at all. You can have an intern at the door who's not a part of your HubSpot. Check people in at the door. So in here, I see all of the people that have already registered.
And they don't even need access to Event Hapily, technically.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
So like, if you guys look at the top of this screen here, scroll all the way up to the top, do you see that little copy check-in URL, right? Let's say you hired some people to come in, like, at an hourly rate to like run check-in for you. You can literally just give them that URL and they can access it on their device. If you want to hide it behind a PIN code, you can do that too as well. It's just a property on the event record that you can set, right? If you want to be even more secure. But you can give those links out to anyone with a mobile device and they can QR code check people in. It's like super, super easy.
Yeah. So in here, I have my snow cone festival. I have the people that have already registered for the event. I can come in here and check in Joe for this event if I want to. You can use things like hey, show the t-shirt size if you're giving away t-shirts for this event, or all kinds of other other properties you can visualize when you check someone in. Mm-hmm. But say someone is in line in front of me, they're not pre-registered. Well, I don't need to turn them away or say, hey, share a form and then try to capture that or move to a different tab on my phone. I can just, hey, you're not on the list? No worries. Let's go ahead and capture information and fill you in right here. So while I do that, Max, you want to provide some context into what happens?
Totally. So a big thing that changed here, right, is we took the register walk-up functionality that we had in here before, and we completely brought it sort of like in-house, and we're no longer just sort of like embedding a HubSpot form here, which is what we did before, which is like kind of clunky, not like it was the sort of like the quick and easy way of doing it, right? But now we're running registering a walk-up directly from within our app, and we can customize it. And not only that, we support it at the session level too as well, right? So if you have a situation where you're running a big event and you have a bunch of different sessions, right? And people, don't necessarily like have to pre-register for them, or you get some people that didn't pre-register, but they show up for the session and they want to do it, right? They can actually walk up, register for that session too as well, not just at the event level, right? So it allowed us to kind of like expand the ways that we can do session level check-in, right? Because we couldn't really do it at the session level using like the HubSpot form embedded method that we had before, which is really cool. But on top of that, we can also customize these forms. So you want to go into the Hapily admin, and we'll show people where they can customize it. So now inside of check-in, and I think display properties is different too. We should hit that real quick. Cool. So walk-up registration form, this is our form. You no longer have to build this as a form or manage this form inside of HubSpot. It's all done through our app, and everything works the same way, right? What you will see here is registrant properties. So if you have any properties that are on your registrant records, you will see them as options here for the walk-up registration form. Another thing that we do when people register using the walk-up registration form, we clearly delineate that by checking off a box on the registrant record that indicates that they are a walk-up registration. The reason that's important is because you may have your own opinions on how that information should like update the contact record, for example, right? So if you want to trigger a workflow that says, hey, if someone registers for the event, but they register as a walk-up, right? Maybe I want to like overwrite their contact name, or I want to like be able to have someone like get their phone number and then have a workflow that says, if we don't have a phone number, replace it with this one. If we do, like send it, like whatever it may be. Yeah. Right. So you get like full control over how like your vital contact records get updated from this data by kind of like almost like quarantining it in like a registrant record at first. And then you get full control over how that kind of like bleeds into the rest of your stuff, right?
Yeah, I provide the same email address as I have a contact record in HubSpot, but I show up and I say I'm Benjamin instead of Ben. What we want to give you the full control over: do we overwrite that name? Do we retain it? Do we ignore it? But still connecting Benjamin the registrant is connected to Ben the contact, and allowing you really easy control over what happens from there.
Yeah, without having to manage, a whole bunch of extra forms per event, right, for the walk-up stuff. So, like, we totally control it right in through there, and you could just set it up. So if we were to go and, like, add a bunch of other fields, we would see them up in here. It would update the registrant records themselves. And the big thing is it supports it at the session level, too. That's a huge upgrade.
You also see as well, like, you can customize the properties that we see on the check-in page. So if you want to see the t-shirt size for everyone from a specific company, or things of
Yep.
that nature. You have a group that's coming all together in front of you. Oh, hey, everyone from Happily is here. Fabulous. You can just even search in here for everyone at, happily.com and be like, all right, cool. We see these 3 people here. I can just, check them in, but I can also at a glance be like, oh, I need a medium and 2 larges for a shirt. And I could go grab those and then check them all in at one go.
Yeah. And, don't forget, like, not only can you choose to see it in this columned format, you can also say like, hey, if there's like a lot of info we need and like we want some of it to show up on the column and some of it to show up like when we hit the check-in button, you can control which information shows up here too as well, right? So if you want to be more conservative with your space and columns, right, and the at-a-glance stuff goes there, but then the stuff that's only relevant like when you're in the act of checking someone in, like, oh, it's a VIP ticket, go this way. Oh, it's a general admin, go this way, right? You're able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. On the check-in page too, if you're on mobile, it will then automatically showcase that scan QR code button. So that way you don't have to go open up a photo session and scan a QR code. You can literally just tap that. It'll ask you to use use your phone's camera in the context of that page. And then you could just boom, 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 check people in that way.
Yeah. So if you got to like rapid fire, ding, 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 just like go down like a list of people who have their like registration email out for you with their QR code, you can easily get them all checked in. And it'll also do the same thing where it'll give you the alert if you have those turned on, right? So like scan with my QR code, I'm still going to be able to see that dialogue that says, oh, they're having the fish, or like they need this size t-shirt, or like whatever.
You go to table 7.
You don't have access to this. Yeah.
Even like I've helped a couple clients even then go from the check-in page to automatically go view their badge page and then print their badge out the second we check them in from the Happily check-in page.
Yeah. Because a cool thing that'll happen on the hit check-in one more time, Ben. Sorry. I mean, not to like force the issue here. That check-in QR code thing, right? You'll notice that that's blue. Anytime it's a property that's holding a URL, instead of just like showing what would be underneath it, we never got t-shirt and dietary restrictions, which is why it's empty for these guys.
Yeah.
But if it's a URL inside of that property, it'll actually just switch to a hyperlink and you can just click it and go right to it. So cool stuff.
Yeah. So with that, I know that we covered a lot in terms of how we build the event, how we manage the pre-event comms, the event marketing side, the post-registration communication experience, and then even how we check people in. We want to hear from you. What are your burning questions about what we covered today, or what we didn't cover today that you would love for us to cover in a future webinar?
Yeah. I like the communication to organization, because with workflows, sending your emails, you lose track of emails when they're being sent, right? When keeping track of some, yeah, true. That's right. Right. Yeah. It's like sometimes that like, targeted send to contacts is like easier to manage. Right. But like it does like what the workflow would be doing, which is like send the email at a certain time to certain people. Right. So it still gives you that benefit of automating it. Right. But it gives you like a little bit of control. Mark said, how do you set up those custom fields for check-in? Do you want to show that real quick, Ben?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And this is live too, Mark.
We're doing this.
How to add the card on event pages that shows the emails we're sending to. Oh, we'll show you how to do that right now too. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. So if we want to manage what properties are shown when we check someone in, we have this check-in alert property section under the check-in tab here.
That's the pop-up.
T-shirt size, dietary restrictions, check-in QR code. In my demo portal, I have table number and badge URL. So if I'm running an event where, hey, you're at table 7, or I need to go print out your badge, I can quickly go to that page and print it out from there.
Yep. And then the check-in display properties is the next tab. And like, that's what you see in the columns before you hit a check-in button, right? Yep. So like, these are the columns that you would see, whether you're in the desktop version or on the mobile version, where it kind of puts it into that like gray card sort of setup that we have. And then walk-up registration form is like, what fields do you see on the registration form itself?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then you want to go back to an event record and just show how to add a UI extension.
For sure. So if we go to customize on the record layout, you may have multiple layouts. Most people just have the default view. In here, whatever tab you want to add those cards to, you can hit add card. And then if you go to the card library and scroll towards the bottom, you'll see a couple Happily specific cards. You have our automation manager, you have the invite manager, lead capture, report, event performance report. We're adding new UI extensions or new cards in HubSpot constantly.
Yeah.
So we want to make it really easy for your team not to have to go make a ton of properties or move them around, and just giving you these boxes that have Hapily functionality directly in HubSpot.
Yep. Which is better, workflow emails or communication management emails? Why would I use one over the other? Danny, that's an amazing question.
I paid her to say that.
Yeah. So it depends, right? I wouldn't say one's better. It depends on the scenario in which you're using them, right? For example, and some have like don't think of it as like communication manager emails versus workflow ones. The communication manager is basically like helping you set up a bunch of these like one-off sends that get built as like scheduled sends, right? That you plan to send out, right? However, remember, they're contact-based emails, right? So if you need an email that has dynamic information from the registrant record itself, you'd want to add those to the workflow that we already build that sends your confirmation email, right? So remember, you get your registration confirmation. Ben, can you bring up a registration confirmation email real quick? We'll do like a little impromptu show and tell here. So that registration confirmation email, right? You can add emails to it. And the benefit of like, why would I do that? Is if there is information from the registrant record that's not just like generic to the event, right? That you wouldn't just be able to like, type it and send to everybody, right? You would just add emails to your registrant based workflow, right? It's just a matter of adding like some delays in there and like additional emails. The benefit there is you can suck information off the registrant record to put into that email. So like if you wanted to, for example, do a reminder that sends someone that QR code again, right? Because like in your registration email, you send them the QR code, but let's say you want to send them a QR code again, right? You could add that email to your registration workflow, and then you can add that email back to the event manager. Because like the other thing we showed you is like those emails that are in there, by default, they're kind of pre-filled with any of the emails you built in the communication manager. But if you had like additional emails you added to the workflow or emails you built after you created the event, you can still link those using that email automation manager. Yeah. Right. So it's not like if you don't know every single email you're going to send at the beginning, you can't add them later. You totally can. We just give you that chance to queue up the ones you at least know you're going to send at the beginning so you can save that work later on.
The general rule of thumb is if we're entering personalization tokens that live on the registrant, that's the object that hosts details about the person who signed up for the thing. It's, it's their status. It's the details about when and where and that person's name. If you need to insert personalization tokens, using a workflow or a registrant-based email is going to be ideal because automated emails in HubSpot can look at the registrant object, whereas a scheduled contact email can't look at custom objects at all. So if you don't need to insert, personalization tokens, and a lot of clients honestly prefer to copyright specific details about that specific event onto an email directly. It's a little bit more familiar. You can totally do that too.
Yeah. Christine, I want to address your question that you have here on the screen right now.
Paid events, Max. Tell the people.
So wait, Maziel, bring the question back up. Can we link payment portal /platform to an event registration?
Man, I love this.
I wish I could say more right now. But let me just tell you guys, right now, currently, our team is heads down on what will be the eventual answer to this question. And let's just say I've seen some things already that, quite frankly, I'm having like an internal freak out about in the most positive way ever. So right now, I'd say, is there a feature that we have like today that can do this? No, but one thing I want you to remember is that like it's HubSpot and there's a lot of things you can do via API and integrations and things like that. However, that's not the answer that I want to give you forever, and it's not going to have to be the answer that I give you forever, because paid ticketing is on its way. Is the most I am going to say right now. So what I'll say is God, how do I say stuff without like giving away too much? The next
Stay
one
tuned.
of the things that me and Ben do, maybe not the next, but the second, it depends on how much we do before that. But like, that's the one thing that the team is like working on right now, really hardcore. We're going to have some very cool things to show you around that. And that's as much as I'm going to say without getting in trouble.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Ticketing is coming.
Yes.
So much to show you, Max. You'll get sick of mine and Max's face by the time ticketing is done.
Yeah.
But hey, thank you guys so much for spending an hour of your day with us nerding out about communication and event management. We love your feedback. Anything that we covered today that you want clarity on, anything that you wish we covered that we should cover in a future webinar, musings about how do I better manage paid tickets or how do I better manage session registration, please send that to us.
Yes.
If you're an existing customer, you should know how to get a hold of me by now. If you're not already a customer, what are you doing?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Either way, you should reach out to me and Max, Ben at hapily.com, Max at hapily.com, all of the socials, all the things. Have an awesome
Joe at hapily.com if you want to buy it.
Right?
But if you want to nerd out about it, that's what we're here for. And like, guys, anytime we've got like ideas.hapily.com, right? That's still up. Am I crazy? Right?
Sure
We
is.
still have ideas.
Sure is.
But also just like, if you're ever like, Max, I have a good idea for the product, just email me, max at hapily.com. Easiest email to remember in the world. Yeah. All right. I want to hear your ideas because it is your feedback that will drive the future of this thing as we continue to make it really awesome. And again, folks, like I said this at the last one of these, like I'd said we were 20% of the way, to this thing's final form. I want to say we're 21% of the way to this thing's final form compared to, what else we're going to be doing and what we got planned. So thank you all so much. We really appreciate your time. Yeah.
Take care, guys.